Hello and welcome to another Webinar Wednesday. This is Trevor, and today we're going to be talking about getting more from e-commerce. And we're going to start with a few simple areas covering some setting up of payment plans, discounts, and then discuss a little bit more options when it comes to actually adding sidebars to an order form, or adding fields to an order form, and a few other things like that. So to jump in and get started, here you can see I'm of course in the e-commerce setup. We have the payment section, and so you'll notice if we first look at a product, let's just say we're going to be looking at the Aston Martin DB5. We have our price here. The actual payment plan, if I want to break that down to 4 payments or whatever I want to do there, the payment plans are set up under e-commerce setup where we were just looking. So under the payment section, we have payment plans, and that's where we need to head. So let's go ahead and click where it says add a payment plan. You can put whatever name you want, and we'll just say DB5, and then we'll say for pay, right? The finance charge is if my standard price was 300,000 and I want to give a for pay option, then obviously we're just dividing 300,000 by 4, and that's what they're going to pay. The finance charge is obviously if they choose, rather than paying a one lump sum and they break it up, you can add the finance charge, making them pay more if they're going to pay over time rather than all at once. So to let you know how that works is, let's just say I'm going to add $100 to the cost if they go with the finance charge. The $100 is added to the total, and then that total, if I'm giving them 4 payments, is divided by 4. So to let you know, the finance charge is not charged up front, it's actually built into the payments that are made, whatever number of payments you allow. So in this case, I'll say, just so you can see it, we'll say $100. Number of payments, 4. Now you have the days between payments, clear enough there. Days until start is if you want to give them a free trial period, like a 30-day window, you can put that here. But for the time being, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and just hit save. There we go. So now nothing is different about my product. If I viewed the product, nothing would be different. The payment plan is now available if they try and purchase the product either in the shopping cart or in an order form. If I don't want that to be the case, maybe I want it to be date specific, or they have to enter a promo code or something like that, you'll notice after I've clicked the save button, I now have a section that was not there before called criteria, and I can then add date range criteria, promo code criteria, product or quantity criteria, so on and so forth. The product and quantity, just to clarify, I'm obviously referencing the product I want with my title. However, this payment plan, as you can see, does not ask you for what product you're using. So in this case, I will need product and quantity criteria. I'll select the product I want, and right now I may not have actually made active that product. So let's just go ahead and just do the DB9, and I'll just simply retitle things here just for ease of use. So we'll just say we're going to do the DB9, save. Okay, so now again, I'm referencing what product will get this payment plan made available to them. And again, if I wanted, I could add date criteria, but in this case, I'm going to call it good there. So if we go over to an order form, for example, let's go ahead and just create a new one just so we can see. I'm just going to say payment plan DB9. Again, you don't have to have a specific order form for this to show up. If that product is offered anywhere else, it will automatically roll in the payment plan if you've made it available. So I'm going to go ahead and preview what I've got, and you can see in this case the price was a little different than the other car. So we have $285, or I could do 4 payments, and as I click on the 4 payments, you can see that I have a finance charge of $100, and it's rolled into the total, so it divides out my total and shows me here's the amount today, you know, and the amounts and what dates those are going to charge. So that is how to set up a payment plan, and obviously add any criteria that you might want when setting that up. Now, to shift gears a little bit, we're going to discuss something actually quite similar to the process we just set up. It's actually in how to set up discounts and different things like that. You'll find it's similar to the process that we have with payment plans. Again, the discounts obviously are separate than the products. We'll come to our promotion section of e-commerce. Under the add new, you have many different choices here. So product specific discount is only going to discount that product. Order total discount obviously is discounting the total order. Shipping discount is only discounting the shipping aspect of things. Subscription free trial is you can determine any of the subscriptions that you offer and you can provide a free trial to them with use of a promo code or date range, or just simply make it available for everyone. You can do products in a certain category. Any product in a specific category you've set up, you can discount them. Or you can also create an upsell, of course. So in this case, I'm going to do a product specific discount. In this one, you do get the chance to reference a product, so we've done so. And maybe you can obviously see a percent or amount. And so in this case, maybe I'll just do, you know, $2,000 off. And we'll just say DB9 discount. And same thing, I don't have any criteria option down below. If I save it, I now have that criteria. And you can then go ahead and set up whatever you want. Again, since we've referenced what product gets the discount, if that product is found in any cart, it will be discounted. I don't have to do that in the criteria on this one. You can go ahead and put whatever else you want, promo code, criteria, date range. If you do a promo code, if you don't already have one set up for it, you can easily click the add button and simply do so. The one note here to be aware of is if I have a promo code of, let me just get back to it here. Oops. If I have a promo code and it's, I think if I look at one I've already got, we have, let's just say friends and family. You can see the F of friends and the F of family are currently capitalized. Maybe if I want to give a little variety and I want to say, if someone enters it in all lowercase or all uppercase, I cannot add the promo code criteria all under the same product specific discount. So I can't add the normal one that I've already shown you and the uppercase version and the lowercase version here, because when using the criteria section of the discounts, they are and statements. So in other words, if I've added 3, they will have to have added all 3 promo codes on the form to be able to actually get the discount. So in this case, just keep that in mind. If you actually do want to do that, the 3 different promo code variations, you'll need to actually create 3 separate product specific discounts, setting them all up for that product and that amount, just with a different variation of the promo code. So keep that in mind. Now, with this saved, if we go back over to our e-commerce setup and just take a glance at that order form again, let's see what we have. So it's putting a slash through our original price, displaying for us the discounted price, and you can see obviously it's still working in conjunction with our payment plan. They're irrelevant. They aren't dependent of each other there. So it definitely makes it nice. So keep that in mind. You could have seen that it actually discounted the overall amount of the payment plan. It reduced it by the 2,000 and then cut it into 4. So definitely works with that as well. Now let's talk a little bit about a few other options for you. The order form, as we had seen, just to pull it up again to reference for you. There's no sidebar column. You just get the standard order form and that's how you have it. If, however, I want a sidebar over here, over basically to show you more in this area, and I want to be able to put maybe some images, maybe testimonials, or images showing my, merchant account is secure, this or that. Whatever your reasoning there, if you go to your e-commerce setup, and in this case, we're talking about order forms, so we'll keep on that track. If we go to the order form themes option, we'll go ahead and create a new theme. You'll notice right here, I have the choice of 1 column or 2 column. The 2 column gives you a right side column. So if you give that a click, you'll actually see here on any of my previews, I now have a right side column that identifies for us 200 pixels wide. So I can add content. It just kind of squishes a little bit the other fields and puts in your right side column. So if I wish to do that, you can just simply select whichever theme that you like, and we'll just say use this theme, and we'll call it side column, right? Go ahead and save that. And you can, of course, add your logo, do whatever you need to there, add your customizations if you wish. And if we go over to the theme now of the order form we've been working on, and we make active our side column, and then let's go ahead and preview this. Now you can see it's shrunk up the sidebar column. Now, where I go to actually add content to this is still in the order form page. I just go to the HTML areas, and as you can see, it's highlighting for me this section for the right column, and I can, insert a message. And preview that. There you go, right? And you can add pictures, you can do, if you have a little experience with coding, you can obviously see you could add whatever content you want using HTML there. With that, you have a little bit of flexibility, but just keep in mind with the text, as you might have seen, your text is fairly large, so putting in a testimonial, sometimes you'll find that you actually have to keep them somewhat short or brief, just depending again if you're wanting multiple. So you play around with that and certainly see what you want to do there. Now, when it comes to, a lot of people have wanted to try and add other fields to an order form that would be able to pass maybe a custom field value over to their contact record. Maybe you want them to select or add other information, but you don't want to have to direct them to another form or anything during that process. You can do it. You can make it work just fine. Now, you possibly have seen that if you've ever attempted this, that sometimes if you just simply go to, we'll say, a web form, a normal web form in Infusionsoft, and copy out the HTML code for inserting a certain custom field value, it actually will not pass that value on submission to the contacts record. If you use the code from a web form, again, it will not pass to the contacts field's record unless Infusionsoft has made any updates since the date of me creating this webinar for you. What you can do to allow it to work, as you may have seen from my previous webinars, there is a little tool called Firebug, and again, this is on Firefox, and if you're on a Mac, you can do Command-Shift-A. If you're on a PC, you can do Control-Shift-A to actually open up your add-ons, and you'll want to get Firebug if you don't have it for this. What you do is you click this little cursor indicator, and you can select, for example, a field there, and you can see right here in HTML, if you're unfamiliar, each field has a way to identify itself, like a tag on a contact record, for example. And the identifier for that field is regula-validation and checkout top. But again, that's only because it's the first field. Typically, it's just regular validation checkout. And so that is the class, or in other words, the way to identify the field. So when this form gets submitted, Infusionsoft can recognize the value and then pass it over to the contacts record. So if you're going to be doing this and adding those fields, you can get the standard HTML code from a web form, for example. However, you'll just need to update and make sure that there are classes listed on the fields that you want to include that again reflect this regular validation checkout. You'll notice that it does have an ID, and again, the ID should be the same. And this is obviously the first name you can see by then go down to, company name, for example. This one just has the ID of company. So you'll be able to follow the standard process for ID, but the class is something that you'll need to update to be able to get it to pass properly. Now, I've already gone ahead and set up a couple examples on an order form field. This is just to show you a few different options you have. You can put standard fields across. You could put it in a table like this. You could put it horizontally displayed. You have quite a few options there. So there are a variety of things that you can do. If you have any questions on this, I would first recommend just Googling a little bit if you're unfamiliar with HTML. Or if you don't want to even mess with it, but you want it done, obviously you can fill out the have questions form below the webinar here and get in touch with us, and we can either point you in the right direction or discuss what your needs are and if you want to have us do any of the work for you. So there are a lot of options for you as far as customizing order forms, much more than people are aware of. It just simply requires a little bit of understanding of code and how we want to put things together. So feel free to let us know if you have any questions there. Now, the other aspect I wanted to cover today are the purchase actions. And if we go under purchase actions here, what you can do is set up actions that are obviously going to run on when a purchase and when a specific purchase is made. You can see here I have default settings under my purchase actions that I can base it off of any successful purchase. So that's, regardless of product purchased, any purchase will trigger the action. Or down below I have products, and I can select whatever product I want, or just hit the space bar again and get a list pop up. And if I select the product and hit the actions button, I can then open this drop down and select whatever actions I want to apply, whether it's a tag or an email getting sent or a task being created. Now, you might be curious to see, okay, why would I use purchase actions rather than a campaign, or when would I want to do one versus the other? The purchase actions, by rule of thumb, are an action or a group of actions that you want to run after purchase that you don't need follow-up on. In other words, if I have an email that I want to send once they purchase, thanking them for the purchase, but I want to follow up with them, maybe I'm going to give them a link to click or a survey to fill out or something beyond just my initial post-purchase actions, I would want to do it in a campaign. Just be much easier. There's a lot more benefit you can get out of it there. If I just want to run a group of actions and I don't need any other follow-up, I don't need to know, other things or have them go through any other steps, then purchase actions are a great way to do it. Saves you the hassle of setting up a campaign and get the action run still. So that's a kind of a good rule of thumb when using purchase actions or using the campaigns to trigger some of those different procedures. I wouldn't recommend necessarily using both for the same product being purchased, because down the road it can cause confusion. I've seen it many times where people don't remember that they set up a purchase action because they thought the only action set up were in a campaign that happened to do a couple things after the purchase was made. So if you're going to do it, just maybe be clear about which one you're doing, or at least make a note to yourself. If you do have it in both, make a note in the campaign that you're still running certain purchase actions. So it can help you clarify things down the road if you start seeing things happen that you didn't expect. So we have a little bit more time, and there were quite a few questions sent in about our webinar topic today. The last thing before I get to those questions I'll just briefly touch on is the shipping options. If you go back to your e-commerce setup, you'll notice that in the products themselves, so if we open one of them here, you'll notice that you have the ability to say is shippable, either yes or no, of course, right? So taking a step back to e-commerce setup, you have the shipping options area here, and you can go ahead and give that a click. And under your shipping methods, you can choose to add a method or just edit the ones you have. And you'll notice there is a status here. I have either active or inactive, and inactive obviously isn't going to do anything. For my active, I can create to be whatever I want, whether it's a flat rate shipping, product-based shipping. You can base it on, different things. In this case, I have international and things. But to clarify, let's just take the international as an argument. I have to go, before I can even use that, I have to go to options and make sure that I check all that apply when what countries are considered as domestic. So if I live in the United States, I'll need to make sure United States is selected, because by default, in fact, no country is selected in that dropdown. So I have to make sure that United States is selected to allow any other country that someone selects to be considered international. So that's just something to be aware of. You can select multiple countries as indicated there. You can tack shipping amounts if needed. If we open up, for example, the international shipping that I've set up, I have it right now. Shipping method is based on a product. So it will list for me what products I've indicated are shippable, and I can then put in the specific price of shipping for that. And again, I have to just check that this is international, enable the shipping method. I can display something simple, or I can also add a description if you want. This will be customer facing if you do put those in. The not shippable are referring to the fact that for these products, I'd never indicated in the drop-down we initially saw that they are a shippable product. You can hop out and change that and come back, and you'll see you have a field there to edit. But otherwise, that's what you're looking at. So when you add a method, you can see I have a couple of different options: ship by specific, ship price per product, by weight, by order total. By weight as well, you'll set the weight of the product on the product screen itself. Ship by order total, by quantity, flat rate per order. The real time per UPS is based on if you already have a UPS account. If not, you can obviously follow the instructions and register. But you'll need to set that up. Right now, there are no options for FedEx or DHL. But anyway, that's just something to be aware of. You can set up anything you want there if you have them. Otherwise, you can use what's available. So feel free to again ask if there's any questions for you on that. But now let's just talk a little bit about the questions that were sent in. The first that was sent that we'll discuss is, can I use more than one merchant account at a time? The answer is yes, you can. Mainly if you're using order forms. You can set up under your e-commerce settings however many merchant accounts you want. You just come in here. You already have one. You can click to add a merchant account and select whatever you need to there. The order forms themselves, if we go back into one of them, you have under your settings tab the merchant account you wish to use, right? And you can select from the list of however many you have of what merchant account is used for that specific order form. Again, it's not product specific, it's order form specific on that. If you're using, however, a shopping cart and you're not using an order form, you don't have that same flexibility. You're using your default merchant account and that's it. So if that isn't workable for you, you either have to use an order form or you have to have those other products sold externally in Infusionsoft if that's the need. So the next question is, can I use more than one PayPal account at a time? The answer to that is no, you cannot. Merchant accounts, of course, we already saw how you can do so. PayPal is not only just only one account that you can have set up at a time, it's also a universal setting for your application to say, should I allow a PayPal setting or I'm sorry, should I allow a PayPal, payment option, or should I not? If you turn it on and say, yes, I want to use PayPal, any purchase, any purchase screen even on our order form will give the option to check out through PayPal. You cannot set it to be only usable on certain ones. There's a high likelihood that you could turn it on and simply use some CSS and hide the button on certain order forms. But I'm sure there's some questions there of setting it up. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about something like that. The next question was, do I have to use an order form to have clients update their credit card info without calling them, or if it is expired or failed? The thing that they're indicating is under your actions, if you go to billing automation, you can trigger an email to go out to the client if an auto charge attempt is made or a credit card's going to expire. Only from this section in the software can you trigger an email that will allow you to use merge fields to reference their credit card information. It's not going to display the full credit card number, but you do have the option to merge in a secure link for them to update their credit card information. These emails are absolutely system sent. In other words, you can't go in at will and trigger that email to the client. Obviously, for security's sake and things, they simply don't allow it. It has to be off of when an auto charge attempt is made and fails, or if a credit card's going to expire, things like that. Their question again was, if I'm not going to do that, if I'm not going to use the billing automation for based off it's expired or failed, do I have to use an order form if I don't want to call them? And the answer is yes. Without question, you would have to either email them, which obviously I wouldn't recommend because it would be unsecure and they'll passing sensitive data through email. But the order form would be the best way to do it. It's still SSL secured. You have a lot of protection there with some of that encryption ability. The thing is, even if you have it do that, even if, let's just say they had an order already, maybe a subscription occurring, and their card hasn't gone bad yet, but they want to update information, you would have to send them that order form if you didn't want to call them or whatever the case is. They would put in their credit card information. That credit card info would be passed over to their contact record. However, it would not be, that subscription that's in place would not be automatically updated with that new credit card information. You'd have to manually go in and update it. Just selecting the different card under the drop down there for the billing. Now, again, this whole explanation of getting credit card information to be updated is under the standard process of only having Infusionsoft. If at all you have Customer Hub, people can actually at will go in and update their billing information right through Customer Hub. So that's just a heads up. The last question that we're going to take time to cover today, it says, is it better to use purchase actions or a campaign? And in fact, we actually already discussed that a little bit. It's not necessarily one way is better than another. It's just simply based on, again, the use, or rather what is going to happen after those actions, if anything. Once you can answer that question, if it's just the one group of actions you want to run and there's not really any other follow-up you need to do with that same group at that time, then you could do a purchase action. But if you want, wait 5 days after this email from when they purchased and do X, Y, and Z, you would want a campaign. And so again, it's not necessarily one's better than the other. It's just based on what your end game is there. So thanks again for watching. It's definitely good to see some of the questions asked. Feel free to reach out if you have any more or suggestions for other topics you wish us to cover. But thanks again, and look forward to next week.